Support for this podcast comes from the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative, connecting communities with the resources, infrastructure, and networks to ensure a vibrant local free press.
From KVPR in Fresno, this is Central Valley Daily. It's Monday, June 16th. I'm Elizabeth Arkalian. Coming up, high school sports can be a fun way to stay active, but for some, it's a place to challenge yourself, both physically and mentally. Our conversation with a Clovis North High School graduate who made history this year at state competitions. That's coming right up.
Support for Central Valley Daily comes from Body 20 in Fresno's Fig Garden Village, offering full-body electromuscle stimulation training sessions. It's a high-tech, time-efficient way to help preserve and rebuild lean muscle. Each 20-minute one-on-one session is guided by a certified coach using FDA-cleared technology. Body 20 accepts health savings account cards. More information available by searching the Fig Garden location at body20.com.
And now to our feature story. Many of us may be into sports or fitness, and a lot of us probably took part in high school sports. We probably had dreams of becoming so good that we made it to the big leagues, or that we'd be famous star athletes one day. Well, one teen in Clovis may be well on his way there. McKay Madsen was one of the hundreds of student athletes who recently competed at the California Track and Field Finals. He's a thrower, so he competes in discus and shot put events. This year, he accomplished something not seen in more than 100 years. That is sound from the competition that took place last month. McKay became the first person to win shot put and discus titles in back-to-back years. Nobody has managed to do this in 103 years. Something like this takes either natural talent or hard work or both. But McKay tells us he has a strategy to get his mind focused where it needs to be. You mentioned having to be almost obsessed to get to this point of success. How do you mentally stay prepared for kind of the pressure that comes at the state championship level?
What I'll do is we have before the practice before a meet, I'll go into a throw and kind of make up scenarios. Say this is the first throw of a meet, and the first throw you want to stay comfortable and to make finals with that first throw and get a good mark. So I'll do that with the first throw. And then the second throw, I'll kind of amp it up a little bit. Third throw, I might make a scenario where I'm going into the third throw with 2 fouls and I have to get this one in. So just put myself in different situations, get used to being nervous, get used to being in a good lead and then maintaining that lead. Just trying a lot of different things. And then, even at home, laying in bed, just visualize myself on the big stage.
And oh, what a big stage this one is. McKay is now graduated from Clovis North High School. He walked across the stage at Veterans Memorial Stadium. That's the same place where he broke that throwing record, and that's also where he played football for 4 years. When McKay isn't competing, he enjoys being outdoors and at the lake. He chops wood and actually likes doing yard work, if that tells you something about his work ethic. Today, we're bringing you more of our conversation with McKay at our Clovis studios to discuss his record-breaking feat and what he managed to learn as an athlete. McKay starts by explaining how it felt to break a century-long record.
I didn't know that it had been 103 years since that happened coming into this season or coming into the state meet. That was something we kind of just found out after, just because you don't want to count the chickens before they hatch. The goal was just to win and repeat, secure a victory, and then anything after that's just like icing on the cake, all the records, all the accolades and stuff. So it was really just about focusing on winning, and then you can celebrate and look on it after. But that was just so cool. I didn't realize it had been that long. I didn't think it would have been because there's been so many great throwers to come through California, but they have all been kind of specialized in one event rather than not the other. So to do both it was kind of crazy, and it's not crazy, but just a cool little, topping on it.
I don't know. know, 103 years, that's pretty crazy. I think that's pretty fantastic. And as you say, most folks specialize in one. So to be able to do that with both is remarkable. I want to mention your shot put performance was nearly 70 feet, 69 feet and 11 inches. That puts you at third place in the country for shot put. You're also fourth in the country for discus. You threw 210 feet and 8 inches. I think the natural question on people's mind would be, how hard did you have to work to get here?
Just crazy hard. And, like any sport, most of the work goes unnoticed. It's like I said, right after football, I gave myself 1 week, and then we were already back in December training every day after school at 5, sometimes 6 days a week. In the cold. Today was in the 100-degree heat. You never know what you're going to get, but just consistency, and I've probably taken over 10,000 throws, whatever it is. And so it's just, you have to be at it every day, and it's got to be like almost an obsession just to stay connected to the ball, the implement, and just the consistency and drilling over and over so that when I do get on the big stage, it's just another throw, a throw I've done thousands of times. So much work, so much weightlifting.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Weightlifting and strength training, and then just watching videos. My coach will record me, and we have this app, and he'll upload all my throws and stuff. So just going back and analyzing all those after practice and after meets and seeing what I can change and looking up videos, professional throwers, and analyzing them and, kind of matching my technique with theirs and seeing what I can do better. So it's just so much goes into it, and it may just seem like, big dumb shot putter, he's just throwing the ball, but I think throwers are the best athletes in track and field, honestly, just because there's so much, technique and body control that goes into it and just so many things. Whereas, I don't want to put down any runners. It's like, they're amazing. We just had a runner at my school who did something I could never dream of doing. But yeah, just so much work goes into it, and it's so rewarding when you get a big PR like I did at the state meet, and when you can win both comfortably, it's special.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you find that your training for shot put and discus complements each other, or are they totally different parts of your brain that you're pivoting towards?
They're honestly kind of different. Discus, you want to stay like long and lengthy to get a good orbit on the discus. Shot put's more speed and strength and like explosive focused. Obviously, like when you get a good thrower, they're good at both just because they're kind of similar, and they share a lot of the same technical points, but the finishes are a bit different. Discus, you just want to be long shots, explosive and powerful. But when you're strong and explosive and drill good at both, yeah, they kind of go hand in hand.
So you played football as well. How did training for different sports help you athletically?
To start, just the competitiveness. That's why track is so great. It's just in the football off season, it's just another chance to compete every week, almost even more than football, because it's your own doing. It's such an individual sport. So really your success is based off you and your coach kind of. With football, also like the strength training that comes with it. My football coach, Coach Jaycott, was still our PE coach this whole year, and he was just preparing us in the weight room. And then for Coach Brazil, my track coach, to come mold that into throwing technique and stuff like that. They go hand in hand totally. But yeah, being competitive, staying tenacious almost, having that drive in the off seasons, it's great.
I have to reference something I read online about you by a national recruiting analyst who was singing your praises. He actually said your ability was kind of freaky. He said you're a two-sport standout. You could double sport at the college level if you wanted. Clearly, you were quite successful on the football field as well. Is this just natural talent that drives you? Is it hard work? Is it, motivation that comes from within that you can't quite pinpoint? What got you here?
I think it's just all of everything. Huge credit to my parents for, raising me the way I am and giving me these opportunities to like have success early on. And I think that's why putting kids in sports at a young age is so crucial. Not even if they're going to become athletic or continue with athletics, but just the lessons you learn alone just benefit you so much in life. Having siblings too, pushing me every day and being competitive like that, having friends that support me, and then just living in Clovis, there's so many opportunities. It's so great for kids and raising your kids here. So that too, and then, but none of this would be possible without my Heavenly Father and all the blessings that He's given me and all the opportunities He's given me to praise Him on big stages like this. Because, it all goes back to Him and the opportunities He's given me with. Like this, my body, yes, I work hard for it, but I also got pretty lucky with like, you know, how big I was at a young age and the coordination I have. But just pairing that with and magnifying these opportunities, it takes a village.
Yeah, and that deeper sense of motivation, I'm sure, has moved you along. When people think of track and field, you sort of referenced this earlier, they might think of hurdles, the 400-meter dash, but your sports are quite different.
Yep.
Have you enjoyed bringing a spotlight to shot put and discus?
Of course. The throwers community is so tight together, but a lot of the times it's overlooked. You know, everybody watches the 100-meter dash, like that's the fastest man on the planet. But then it's like, oh, that's the guy who can throw the 16-pound ball the farthest on the planet. It's like it's just different. It's old, but as a throwers community, it's just so cool being represented. And for me to, be kind of a leader in it and a standout in it is super cool.
I think the discus actually goes back to like the original Greek Olympic sport. So
totally. It's graceful.
Yeah.
Shot put's more like brute strength, just big men. Discus is graceful and peaceful almost. They're very different, but they're so fun to watch too. I mean, kind of biased, but it's cool.
I actually did shot put and discus
when
I was in junior high, early in high school, and I met Susie Powell, who was a famous discus player, and like I just did it, frankly, as an off-season sport because I played other sports. But I can relate to what you're saying because it is very different, and it's there's just incredibly strong people in that space, so it's really cool to get to spotlight that. Is there an athlete you look up to or someone or something that kind of keeps you motivated, or where do you mentally go from here?
In football, my kind of idol was always Christian McCaffrey. My dad played at Stanford, and so we grew up Stanford fans, and he played there when I was just starting out my football career in 4th and 5th grade. So I'd go play my games on Saturday and then come home and turn the TV on and watch him play at Stanford, and it was just the greatest thing ever. He was so electric and fast, and just brought Stanford to many wins and many championships. So I've always loved watching him, and then him playing for the Niners has made me a Niner fan, really. And then in throws, I don't know, my teammate Braden Bitter last year, I look up to him a lot, just his maturity and his drive in the sport. That's why he won his conference as a freshman at Fullerton. It's just, idols are super important, just people to look up to. Not even idols, just, friends and motivators, people who you can look after when you're struggling and whatnot.
And you can relate to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, you're recently graduated McKay. How did it feel to end on such a high note?
It was great. It was a storybook ending. I couldn't have asked for a better day at States. Maybe if I hit 70, it would have been better. But to win that and have my mom put the medal on my neck and then go back 4 days later to graduate on that same field, I kind of got emotional almost. They played our football fight song, our school fight song, as we were walking off the stage for graduation. And on that field where I won a Valley championship, I played my first and last varsity football game as a freshman and then a senior on that field, winning shot put on that field. It's a lot of memories were tied there. So to walk off the stage as a Clovis North graduate, completing all that was pretty great.
That was my conversation with McKay Madsen. He's a top discus and shot put thrower in the state and recently broke a 103-year record at the California Track and Field Championships. McKay tells us he will double sport in football and track and field at BYU. But before that, he'll spend 2 years as a missionary in Argentina with the Church of Latter-day Saints. And before that, McKay will compete later this week at the Nike Outdoor Nationals taking place in Oregon. And we wish him all the best. And that's today's show. If you have feedback or a story idea, we would love to hear from you. Just email podcast@kvpr.org. And if you like what you have been hearing, then help us build some momentum by leaving a 5-star rating in your podcast app. Or even better, you can share the podcast with a friend. We really appreciate it. Today's episode was produced by Crescencio Rodriguez Delgado and KVPR with support from the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative. I'm Elizabeth Arkalian. Find the latest local news anytime at kvpr.org.
Planet Money helps you understand the economy. We find the people at the center of the story.
Garbage in New York, that was like a controlled substance.
We show you how money influences everything.
Tell me what you like by telling me how you spend your money.
And we dig until we get answers.
I had a bad feeling you were going to bring that up.
Planet Money finds out. All you have to do is listen. The Planet Money Podcast from NPR.